Hi, so it is Saturday, April 15th, and I'm over here in Armenian Town, what's left of it, unfortunately, and just had a very nice chat with the security here, and I did find out that the construction company is CAT Construction. Okay, as you can tell, these homes are very beautiful. They're Queen Anne style. Very close to the style my grandmother lived in. And these homes were moved here, 5 of them originally, from other areas on M Street and a couple from Santa Clara. So they were moved here to this historical plot. This is not a livable plot, it is a historical plot, okay? And they were moved here. 2 of them were owned by a very sweet man by the name of George Bursick. God bless him, he's still alive. One of them actually burned, but he still has right of refusal. Okay, on the 2 houses. We have the paperwork and everything. Right of refusal, just to kind of educate you guys, is this. When your home is seized under eminent domain for a reason. So these 5 homes were seized for historical resources. That's the terminology they use, so that's what I'm going to use. Looks like they may have an electrical box that they've moved on there. These homes are actually shells, by the way, you guys. They're not livable. If they do not use your home that was taken from you under eminent domain for the reasons stated, you have first right of refusal to buy it back. So they have abused Mr. Burzig and his paperwork, okay? So when we found out about what they were going to do, found out on September 27th. And we found out because we have a lot of friends that work at City Hall. Oh, quite a few Armenians, too. So they pulled the paperwork and they said, "You're not going to believe it. What is this high project?" And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about. That's not a name I would use. That's kind of derogatory towards Armenians." And they said, "Well, there's this 78-page attachment that Tom Richards is going to be buying it for affordable housing." And I said, "Well, they can't be affordable housing. They're historical resources. And look at these bastards. They've already tagged it up. Filthy MFers. No respect." So I said, "Well, let me take a look at it." So they sent me these 78 pages. I had some attorneys look at it, and it was a bunch of horse shit. So it called for the transfer of all this and money to be appropriated through Arambala at the state, through Miguel, to the successors agency, this despicable woman by the name of Marlene Murphy, pathological liar, who should be fired. Now, for those of you that don't know, the successors agency used to be called the redevelopment agency, okay? But under Jerry Brown, the governor, he considered it rife with fraud. And they changed the name, but nothing else changed. You know, they slap a new label on it, and it's still the same old bullshit. So these homes, there was a fire in June of 2020. 2 of them that were here burned to the ground because, according to the PIO report of the fire department, they came out here, they hooked up to the fire hydrant over here. There was no water because these homes, again, are shales. There's no water hooked up. It looks like they've put some kind of temporary electric box in, but there's still no insulin. These homes would have to take another 100,000 to get them up to livable code. So they had to detach from the hydrant here and go across the street over here to our church, which has a national historical designation. They had to hook up over there in that 8 to 10 minutes. 2 pieces of our history were gone in this town, okay? Now, they have just recently dug up the foundation of those 2 burnt down homes because according to the 78 pages, it's supposed to be green spaces. We hope it's going to be a Armenian Heritage Park like they have in Massachusetts, downtown Boston, because that was the other area where Armenians migrated through when they were emptying out all the Christians subjects out of the Ottoman Empire, or Western Armenia, for the lack of a better word. So this is what they've done. They've already cleared this out. Now this guard over here is a very sweet guy. Told me, he goes, I know it's CAT construction. He doesn't really know who he's being paid by. He said my boss would know that. I'll find out. Come to find out, his aunt is Armenian. Nice Hispanic gentleman. Doesn't like what's happening. Good human being. But see this electrical boxes that they're putting in on the side of the houses? See that? These are never going to be livable, you guys. Never. You cannot turn houses like this into livable homes. So these homes were originally moved here. All 5 of them. We're already $200,000 in the rear per home. Putting another $100,000 in each one to make it somewhat livable is going to put these homes probably in the 300 to 350, I'd say, thousand to 400,000 a piece. And baby, that ain't low-income housing. $400,000 of your money. Yeah. This one's really beautiful. That actually looks closer to my grandma's home. I think that's the Teresian home, which used to be owned by German Volgas because we butted right into the German Volga neighborhood. The Schmidt home. Yeah. So I've got all the maps at home. So it even has a beautiful wraparound veranda. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? So we're not going to let them take our history, the history of Fresno. And look, it's still empty lots where they removed all these people's homes for the purpose of a freeway, which is my next subject. You cannot seize property under eminent domain for the purpose of something and then just let it sit. And I can tell you right now, this is going to go up in flames here real soon if they don't get these weeds cleared out, because they're going to get dry, and once again we're going to have more fires. But the geniuses over at City Hall are assholes. So on 9/29 they took a vote. We came in to talk. Our mics were muted because we had contested it, and I was not allowed to talk about my history, my homes, and neither were my friends. We were muted. So I had to listen to Miguel Arias, Marley Murphy with the Successors Agency, and that trash from the planning department, Jennifer Clark. All 3 of those knucklehead stooges are not from Fresno, and they're making decisions on our history. Okay? So let's get back to some more legal stuff. When you seize property from people and take their homes from them for a purpose of the freeway, you have to use it for that purpose of eminent domain. That's the requirements. My grandmother's home was right over here on O Street. It's an empty lot. In Bruce family versus the city of Manhattan Beach, beautiful black family owned beachfront property in Manhattan Beach. They kicked him out. Well, you and I both know why they kicked him out. They didn't want him around. They didn't want the Armenians around either. We weren't even allowed to live much north of here. How many years later? 70 years later, they never put a state park in down there in Manhattan Beach. They're so full of shit. And guess what happened last year? They got the property back, the Bruce family. I saw photos of the resort. It was amazing. They used to have these big elaborate weddings.